Every organization I know runs two trust systems side by side and never notices the contradiction. For people, trust is a process, a probation period, small assignments, review, gradually widening scope. Nobody decides on day one what an employee will be allowed to do in year two. The track record decides, and everyone understands this so deeply it never needs saying. For agents, trust is a config file. Somebody, usually whoever did the integration, usually under deadline, decides at deployment what the system may do, writes it down and moves on. Then the agent runs for months, producing thousands of data points about what it can actually be trusted with. And the config file reads none of them. Trust that is configured is a guess. Trust that is earned is a record. The solo operator runs the earned version instinctively, recalibrating daily what their AI handles unsupervised. That calibration is the implicit thing. Here is what it takes to make it infrastructure. First, the tiers need an objective axis, and the wrong one is seductive. How confident the system sounds. Confidence is a property of the output's tone. Risk is a property of the action's consequences. The axis that works is reversibility, how hard the action is to undo. 4 rungs, read-only actions run free. Reversible ones run with logging. Costly to undo ones want a human on the loop. Irreversible ones want a human in it. The pricing test. If the undo is a command, it is reversible. If the undo is an apology, it is not. I published that ladder some time ago, and recently, an engineer I had never met implemented it in his own incident response agent and reported back a finding that deserves repeating. The fail-safe default, untagged actions, require human approval, has to live in code, not configuration, so that a risky new tool cannot slip through by omitting a field, the floor of the ladder compiled into the runtime. He also took the pricing metaphor one step further, and his version is better. The undo's price is not fixed. Clearing a cache on a calm afternoon is cheap to undo. The same command in the middle of an incident can deepen the outage. Same action, higher price right now, so it climbs a rung for the duration. And the governing rule, the moment can only raise the price. Never lower it. No emergency makes an irreversible action reversible. A ladder whose rungs bend downward under pressure is not a ladder. It is the pressure with extra steps. There is an obvious objection. Somebody still configures something. The tags, the starting rungs, the maximums. Have we just moved the config file? No. And the distinction is the whole point. Configuration should set the ceiling, never the level. The organization decides, deliberately and visibly, the most autonomy an action class may ever earn. Within that ceiling, the level is earned. Configuration bounds the maximum. Evidence fills it in, and the only change that should ever be quick is the one that moves a ceiling down. Now the part almost nobody builds, promotion. An action class should be able to earn a rung, and earn has to mean something evidentiary. If you run review properly, the evidence already exists. Every accept, edit, and reject is recorded. Promotion criteria become thresholds on that record. Say, a threshold of consecutive clean runs, an unedited acceptance rate above a bar, across a minimum window, with 0 incidents. The system proposes, a human decides, the ladder logs it. And notice what this does to the economics. Review stops being a tax and becomes a promotion file. Every reviewed artifact is quality control and evidence in the case for autonomy at the same time. The half nobody wants to build is the half that makes the system honest. Trust must be able to fall automatically and faster than it rose. An incident drops the action class a rung immediately, pending review, not after the post-mortem. Not at the next quarterly config pass. Promotion is slow, evidentiary, and human-approved. Demotion is fast, automatic, and reviewed afterwards. Any system where trust only ratchets upward is not a trust system. It is negligence with a delay timer. A tier change is a governance event. It should carry the same ceremony as giving an employee production access. A named decider, a recorded rationale, an audit entry. If autonomy can go up because someone edited a file on a Tuesday afternoon, your real trust policy is whoever has right access under whatever deadline. And this answers the question courts have started asking. England's judicial statement made the level of autonomy granted and the supervision exercised the operative facts. A ladder with owners, evidence and audit entries is the paper trail, the difference between a documented history and a shrug. One more design question, because it is about to be everyone's question. When you swap the underlying model, does earned trust reset? The lazy answers are both wrong. Reset everything and model upgrades become organisationally impossible. Keep everything, and you pretend you measured the harness alone when you measured the harness with that model in it. The answer that holds: trust attaches to the task, the harness, and the evidence together, and a model swap invalidates the evidence until recertification, which is cheap because the machinery exists. Rerun the record's greatest hits against the new model and read the diff. I watched a database operations builder publish the same pattern independently. Different domain, same conclusion, which is what a law looks like. 3 questions for any organisation running agents. 1. When did an agent's permissions last change because of evidence? If the honest answer is at deployment, you have a guess with Uptime. 2. Can a tier go down automatically? If trust only ratchets up, it is not trust. 3. Who owns the ladder? A name with tier changes in the audit log. If the answer is whoever edits the config, that is your real answer to question 1 as well. The solo operator does all of this by instinct, for free. A team gets none of it for free. The full ladder and the 6 essays around it live at JieGou.ai/essays.